Hey guys, this is where we left off with my 1979 C3 Corvette brake repair work. I think what we're going to do here this morning is put the tires back on, drop the front end back down on the ground, snug up the lug nuts, and put the jack stands around the back, get it up in the air. I think we've got the front brakes basically ready to be bled, but the back brakes are probably in need of some assistance. Follow along, we'll get this job done and get this thing so at least we can stop it. Down out of the sky, I got the front wheels bolted back on. No, I didn't use a torque wrench. I know that's going to be a question that somebody's going to think about, but I did snug the wheels up good with a breaker bar, and as I say, we're just basically driving this thing maybe 1.5 miles to the new house, and I'm not too worried about the wheels falling off in that short a time, and they are snugged up pretty good. Let me restage everything around the back end of the car. We'll get it jacked up in the air, and we're going to start working on those wheels. I'll bring you back when I got things set up. I'm basically ready to start jacking up the back of the car here. C3 Corvettes are a little bit of a pain to jack up with a floor jack and jack stands, because there's not really anything at the back of the car to jack on. The way the frame is shaped in these is it comes down the rocker panel here and then goes across the just in front of the rear wheels, where the front of the pump can mount solidly to the frame, well, through rubber isolators, but basically mounts solidly to the frame, and then kicks up over the rear wheels, and then is up, kind of buried up above mufflers and spare tires and things, where it runs across the back of the car. Not anything that we can jack on easily, unfortunately. What I found in the past that seems to work is, since the pumpkin is mounted solidly to the frame, we can jack off of the bottom of the pumpkin, and then we can put jack stands in just in front of the rear wheels at the back of the frame, and hopefully I can get it up high enough to get these jack stands under. I think I used to use shorter ones. We'll see how high we can get it. If I can get it up high enough, then for sure we'll use these ones. Otherwise I'll have to go find my smaller set, which I think are over at the other house already. Anyways, there's not really anything you guys can see under there. The spare tire holder, it's a flat fiberglass or plastic tray that supports the spare tire in front of the license plate, and it is going to block the view of what you guys would be able to see if I set the camera down on the floor. So I think what I'm going to do is shut you guys down for the time being. I'll do the jacking, get the jack stands under there, and then I'll bring you back when I'm ready to start peeling tires off. Oh, and I did break the lug nuts loose on both rear tires, just so that it's easier to take them off once we get the weight off of them. I did manage to get those tall jack stands under there. They are sitting on the frame. That's probably the strongest point on the frame. It's kind of several boxes come together in the corner there, just at the back end of the door. I left the jack in place just to be on the safe side. I should be able to stick under there and show you guys what I'm jacking against now. Anyways, how well it shows up. That exhaust pipe's kind of in the way, but I'm on the back end of the basically I'm on the differential cover. The differential cover on a C3 Corvette is cast iron, and it goes all the way up and ties into a cross member of the frame. So I think we're probably jacked up in a good spot there, and supported on the frame rails with the jack stands. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Plus, I don't plan on getting underneath it. I just want to take the wheels off and fix the brakes. We'll try filming with the big door closed. It's kind of blowing the camera out, just too much light. It's too dim in here. So I don't see any leaks on this caliper. It's kind of crusty and whatnot, but I do see an interesting thing. We've got a bolt here instead of a bleeder valve. Now I vaguely remember that way back when I first got this car, I ended up having to put a bolt in there instead of a bleeder valve because the bleeder valve broke off. I could have swore that I've replaced all 4 calipers at least a couple times on this car, but obviously, yeah, this still has this bolt in here. This is one of the ones that I rebuilt with the $5 rebuild kits way back when I first got the car. Since I happen to have 2 new rear calipers, we'll throw new ones on here with new pads. Get rid of this cobbled together temporary repair. As we can see, we got quite a bit of surface rust there that we need to clean up. We've got a broken mount here for an emergency brake cable, and somewhere in my stash I have a replacement bracket, but I don't know where that is, so we're not going to worry about it today. Once I can get this car up on hoist and we can work on it, we'll clean up a bunch of this surface rust on the frame and deal with little tidbits like a broken parking brake cable. How about we go and peel the wheel off the other side? We'll see what it's like. Just grabbing on the tire and with the transmission in neutral and moving it a little bit, I kind of had a feeling that this one was free with no leaks, and the other side was jammed up and not moving. So I suspect we're going to find the other side is in the same shape as the other side was on the front. I don't know how well it shows up for you guys, but definitely this caliper is all wet. So change out both rear calipers and clean the rust off of the rear discs. I don't think we're going to deal with the parking brake at this time. These brakes are kind of neat in that on the inside of this surface is essentially a drum brake, and there's a small parking brake on the inside that engages. That's the brake cable, and they're not in the greatest of shape either. Well, I guess we can make a shopping list for a future endeavor. You'll also notice that this side doesn't have any dust shield on the back side. It rusted off and jammed into the tire. Just about peeled the back sidewall out of a tire that I had on here at one time. Fortunately, I found it before it completely took the tire out. I do have new dust shields that I want to put on at some point, but in order to put them on here, you have to take this entire spindle assembly apart, and that's not in the cards in this situation. Again, we're just trying to get this thing so that we can safely move it across town. We're not trying to get it back on the road. That'll be probably for next summer, once I have a garage with a lift in it. Well, let me see if I can dig up some penetrating oil to put on those flare nuts. Because this is a solid swing axle, the brake hose is at the front. I'm going to see it up. I don't know how well it shows up. There's the brake hose, where the brake line comes off the frame and then attaches to the swing arm, and then it's a solid line for the length of the swing arm and into the back of the caliper. Okay, let me get some stuff staged here, and I'll bring you guys back when I'm ready to start ripping parts off. I do have a fairly decent set of flared nut wrenches, which is what you're supposed to use when you're taking brake lines apart. Unfortunately, I have no earthly idea where they are. Between having 2 garages on the go and having a bunch of tools out at the airport to work on my airplane, I'm not finding them. So we've got a good quality 3/8 wrench here, and we'll see. So that you try and do this so that you can see what's going on as well as me. And I'll just try and strange part is this doesn't look like it's that rusty. I don't know why it's being difficult. The other side, I tried. It looks far rustier, and the tube is seized to the nut. But this side, the nut is getting stiff, and I definitely don't want to round it off if I can avoid it. Well, looks like I'm going for a parts run, because that's not coming off of there, and I don't feel like remaking brake lines. So I'll have to run to the store and buy another flared nut wrench because I can't find mine, and I'll be back in a little bit. The good news is I was able to find a 3/8 7/16 flare nut wrench. The bad news is I had to buy a whole set of them. They weren't too terribly expensive, probably twice what a single wrench would have been anyways. So and the set comes with both metric and imperial and quite a selection of them, so probably not bad, and they seem fairly decent. this on here and ho! See, isn't that so much easier when you have the right tool? Yeah, a little bit of rust on the very lip of that. I'll try and clean that up with a wire wheel or wire brush before we put it back in the new caliper. Definitely there's no fluid dripping out, so probably everything's leaked out that other side. Now we need to get the 2 bolts off the back side, I believe. I kind of feel like they're those 5/8, just like the front were. Let me grab the ratchet and I'll see if I can figure out a way that you guys get a decent angle on that, and we'll pop this caliper off of here. The rotor doesn't want to come off there all that easily. But again, we've got the parking brake on the inside, and it's probably a little on the stiff side. Definitely we can get the front face cleaned up, and I've got the transmission in neutral, so it will spin. If I put the breaker bar on it, I think we can probably get it to spin, and you can see this kind of a window here that we can use to clean up the backside. Definitely it'd be much easier if we just pop that thing right off. Maybe I'll grab a big hammer and give it a whump or two and see if it'll just pop loose. That certainly would make our lives a lot easier. I don't really want to whack right on the disc if I can avoid it. There we go. Haha. Good stuff. So this is our parking brake assembly. And you can see the dust shield that is supposed to be over on the other side. I don't recall doing it, but I'm almost thinking that I replaced this side. That basically looks like brand new. There's no rust damage on it at all. I do know I had this side apart. I replaced the bearings on this swing arm at one point. And when I had it apart, I cleaned up all of the parking brake mechanism and freed it so that it should be able to move. And yeah, you can see the parking brake assembly appears to move. So that doesn't look too terrible. Backside of the rotor doesn't look like it's too badly rusted. Not as bad as the front, although the front will just clean up quite nicely with the die grinder. I'm going to grab a blowgun and blow some of the sand and rust and whatnot away from the parking brake assembly. We'll get this die grinding cleaned up. You've already seen me do that if you've watched the previous videos, and I'll bring you back when I go to reassemble. I don't know how good it looks in this light. Kind of terrible light with this handheld LED, but the rotor cleaned up adequately. When I go to put this car on the road, I'm probably going to put new rear rotors on this thing. There is some wear. I don't know how well it shows up, but there's kind of a wear ridge around the inside, and on the front there was a wear ridge around the outside and the inside a little bit. Basically, this rotor could probably do with being turned down a little bit, but any rotor, I don't know. Hard to say in the 1970s whether there's any beef or whether there's enough beef left on these to bother turning them down, but generally for the price of a new rotor, it's worthwhile just putting new ones on them. Then you get shiny new instead of rusty old. I gave the hub a little bit of a scrub with the die grinder. That scrubby pad I'm using, I mentioned it in a previous video, is just absolutely phenomenal for peeling rust off of stuff. It's kind of like almost like a sponge with grit in it, and it's designed for removing rust, and boy does it remove rust. Very, very good. I'll throw an Amazon affiliate link in the description of where I got these scrubby pads from. They work fabulous. Let me see if I can get this back in place with you guys. Now, the tricky part is going to be the parking brake is going to be a pain. Oh, maybe not. That just slipped right on there. Very good. Okay, I'll rinse off some of the mechanics tracks on both sides. And we'll fight with that caliper to get it back in place. Just like the front brakes, we've got 4 return springs that we're going to be fighting here. And unfortunately, I don't know where my retention tool is. I've got a tool that is designed, it's like a strap that goes around the outside that holds the pads back, or the pistons back. Actually, that slipped right into place. Maybe we don't need those tools this time around. Pull out the pin. Don't worry about starting that yet. Now, on the, I believe it was on the front calipers that the spindle had holes in it and the caliper had threads. This time around, the caliper just has holes in it, and the spindle or hub or whatever you want to call it has the threads in it. So it might be a little bit easier to get these bolts started. Well, it's got the bottom one. Let's see if we can get the top one. Again, these are fine thread, so they take forever to tighten up. The bolt head that we're playing with in the back there is right on the bump stop pad. That doesn't have a bump stop on it anymore, but the pad that is opposite this pad on the suspension is kind of forcing the top of the ratchet crooked. So I think if we can get on there with an extension, it will go much easier. That's got both those mounting bolts done. Now we need to get the line to start back into place, which of course is going to be a little bit cranky. I'm going to have to move you guys because you're sitting right where I need to be. And I'll bring you back when I get this thing snugged back up. And basically this side will be finished, except for bleeding, of course. Well guys, we got her all hooked up. I think that's as far as we're going to take it for now with this. I got to do the exact same thing over on the other side with the other wheel, but you don't need to watch me do everything all over again. Bleeding the brakes is the next step after we get the other side done, and I think I'm going to do that as a separate video. So thanks a lot for stopping by, taking the time to watch the video, and if you got this far, maybe consider giving me one of those thumb up things. Give me a like. And if you haven't already done so, would you consider maybe subscribing to the channel? That'd be good. And ringing that bell icon would be a good thing too. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next mess. Bye for now.